Janae is still out. You know, you guys, we told you that she was dealing with a death in the family last week. She's still out handling that. We want to ask you guys to keep her in your prayers. Send her well wishes, and we're going to get started for tonight. You guys can follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're just all over the place, okay? Wherever you want to hear us, you can hear us at this point. Yes. I'm your co-host tonight. I'm Aisha.
I'm Brianna.
And tonight's topic is co-parenting, all right? So we're going to get into the nitty-gritties of that. So, B, what is co-parenting to you?
Co-parenting to me is basically being a parent, both parties being a parent, allowing their child to grow, learn, all of that good stuff, and being able to have a good, healthy relationship with the other party in order for the child to grow up in a safe and healthy and happy environment. So co-parenting is just, being adults, mature relationships between each other and doing everything for their child.
Right. Yep. I agree with that. I think that co-parenting is when two people are no longer in a relationship.
Yes, I forgot.
They're working together to raise the child, and they're taking part in like activities that is like related to the child, probably like school events or things like that. I think that co-parenting is kind of hard to do, but I feel like if you guys put the kid first, then it should be, it shouldn't be that hard.
So you think that co-parenting can only happen in relationships?
No. I don't think.
Relationships.
I think that co-parenting happens when you guys are no longer in a relationship. Like, that's just my view. I think when you are in a relationship still with the person, I don't think we should label it as co-parenting. Like, even though you guys are working together to raise the child, but I think co-parenting is more so like when we're not together no more and we're working together still to, like, our main goal is taking care of the kid. Like, it's not just like, oh, F you do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing. I think that co-parenting is strictly like when you guys are no longer together in a relationship.
I agree, yeah. I feel like you can co-parent, so like you said, change the word of it, because you don't want to say like you're co-parent. You should be doing your job, in a relationship, especially if that child is your child. Now, if the child is not your child and you guys are in a relationship, then I guess that word co-parenting does come into play, because you are now taking care of a child that's not yours and trying to be amicable with the other parent to take care of the child and make sure the child has everything it needs. So that is a co-parenting relationship there. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't call it that if I'm in a relationship with somebody and you taking care of the kid that's yours. Like, no. Definitely outside of a relationship.
Right. One of our viewers said that when you're in a relationship, you can still co-parent. Each person is parenting in the relationship. I think like when you have, so me and Keith, I wouldn't say that we co-parent our child that we have biologically together. Like, and the only reason why I wouldn't say we co-parent is because I don't know, like I would keep co-parenting like strictly for like
just parent.
When we just parent together. We don't co-parent. Like, I feel like co-parenting is like strictly for when you're not together, that we could coexist, and I think that's where the whole co-thing come from. Like, we could coexist, we could co-parent, we could work, like,
cooperate.
Yeah,
I think it's a partnership. I don't think you have to be together to have a partnership. It's just like a team. Like, you go to work, you have a partnership with the person you work with. It's the same thing when you have a child. You are parenting now with the child, but you are not in the same household or not together anymore. So you are working together, cooperating, coexisting together for the child to develop. We have another. They said maybe if you say it, you will understand what I mean. Maybe I'm not wording it right. Let us know what you mean. Break it down.
All right, so B, like, what do you think the difference is in co-parenting versus parallel parenting?
Ooh, I don't think I ever heard of parallel parenting, but I guess
So
it was like parallel parking.
yeah, so
Then,
basically, so like parallel parenting is like, so it's the opposite of co-parenting. So we say that co-parenting is when you two are not in a relationship no more and y'all are working together. But you know how like you get in relationships and you break up and then it be like a bitterness and you can't work together, y'all can't stand that person, you can't y'all can't come to a common ground, y'all can't do none of that. So basically parallel parenting was like is like you do your independent stuff with your child and then the baby dad do his independent stuff with his child. Like y'all do stuff separately, but it's still for the
oh,
child. It's separate together. Like so y'all don't have to you don't have to be in contact with them. Y'all don't have to go to functions together. Y'all don't have to do none of that together. Y'all just do everything separately, but for that same child.
I
So
like
like,
that.
yeah.
I like that. I wish people was grown enough for that, but it doesn't happen. So what was the question? What you say?
So what's the difference between parallel parenting and co-parenting?
Oh, you broke it down.
Yeah,
You broke
basically.
you broke it down.
Yeah, so they're like complete opposites of each other. Like co-parenting is where you guys can come to a common ground. You don't have to get courts involved and all that stuff. You guys can, hold a conversation and get things done for the child. Y'all could be on the same page. Y'all could coexist. Y'all could be in the same room together. Y'all are fine. But parallel parenting is when it's just like the complete opposite. Like y'all can't stand each other. Y'all can't come to no common ground. Y'all can't. It's just basically like you pick up the child on Friday and you get them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then mom got them Monday through Thursday or whatever like that.
Yeah, I would like to have that. I think that works better for people who aren't in relationships, because it takes out of the part of like things getting iffy. Person might see somebody, they might get jealous of the person you are now with, all of the
Right.
intertwining different relationships that they are now in, like all of
Right.
that. You can negate all of that if you just simply have your days, you do what you want to do, 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases, whatever it is. You do that on your side, cool, boom. The child still benefiting seeing both parents and being able to, be mature about it and handle the situation. So I think I like that. I like
Yeah,
parallel.
I would rather co-parent. Like I would rather co-parent only because it's just like I always say to my husband, like, if for whatever reason we don't make it or we, decide to go our separate ways, like I would like us to still like go to the child like school events together. I would still like us to like have that type of relationship with our child. Now I'm not saying go on vacations together and all that stuff, but like just school functions, like we could be in the same room. We could, oh hey, Haley needs some new clothes or something, and I don't have it this week. You think you could cover it? Like I wouldn't want to have like
You don't want it to be like cold, like so cold. I agree. I don't think parallel parenting has to be cold. Like it don't have to be like, I don't like you, I can't see you in the same room, but at the same time, I have my life going on over here and you're no longer a part of it like that. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Or majority of the time it parallel parenting is because y'all really just can't like you just can't tolerate each other. Like normally that's
parallel parenting for
and you're trying to get the sweet, you're trying to get cupcake and rainbow parallel parenting, but it's usually not like that for everybody. Like we have a comment. One of our viewers said, I don't think I like that idea. I think she's talking about parallel parenting. She said that gives the child the room to develop certain behaviors and attitudes towards specific parents, especially if one parent allows negative things in their household. And I agree. Yeah.
See, that's the maturity level. That's where you got to be mature about it, and y'all both are on the same page and able to talk, which I said is like not cold, where you can discuss things. Oh, I'm doing X, Y, and Z at my house. I would like it if you could still continue this over at your house or whatever.
That would be co-parenting because
you think so?
Because
but they not with you.
Parenting is literally like I'm independently doing whatever I feel like is necessary for our child because we can't come to no common ground. Now, co-parenting is where though like you could say like, listen, these are the things that like let's just go back to potty training. Like, oh, we started potty training. We do potty training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Da da da. Can you continue to do that at home? You know what I mean? At your house. That's co-parenting. But if we was parallel parenting and you came to me and I'm like, I don't think she's ready to potty train. So I'm not doing that. So
Now
that's
then I might take mine back. I don't know. Let's keep talking.
you might want to co-parent.
I might take that back because no, don't.
Yeah,
especially if it came off the situation like one parent had the child most of the time, and then they started the parallel parenting. So that you can't negate all of those years and all of that time and just change it and be like, oh yeah, well I'm not doing that at my house. No, you're gonna have to because they adapted to this type of learning and this type of behavior style, whatever, discipline, all those things for all that time. You can't just start something else new just because you want to, just because we're not together.
And that's usually how it go with parallel parenting. It just be like, listen, I don't care what you're doing. I'm going to do my thing. You do your thing. Like we're completely separated, or like we're both still taking care of the child, but we're completely separated. You can't tell me what to do. You can't, none of that. We're not doing none of that.
Yeah.
So
I think co-parenting is more my style, but with some parallel aspects to it. Like don't be in my business, but you can come to the birthday party. You know, right. You could bring your wife, your sister, whatever, you know, if it's like that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I don't have that.
So how do you feel now that you brought that up? What is your views on having the kids around your new partner? Like, so you guys are no longer together and now you have a new partner or he has a new partner. What do you think, like, what is your view on that?
So I'm not trying to sound immature, but I think it would be best if both parties had someone else.
Right.
And, you know, they were able to use their energy in both places rather than one person having somebody and the relationship just ended. Boom, 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 you got a child. And then, you know, so I would hope that both parties have someone. And if they do, I agree that both parents should sit down with the child, and the other person's significant other should be there as well. So like both couples there, both couples talking to the child, letting them know that, you know, nothing's changing, but you do have this other person that you have to respect in some aspects. I'm still mommy, I'm still daddy, those things, but I think I would be okay with it.
Right. So I know for me, for personal experience, like when I met my husband, he had a 3-year-old at the time. And I didn't really feel comfortable. Like I let him know, like, listen, I'm fine with you having a child. However, if I'm going to be around your child, I feel like I would like to meet her mom. And that was just me. Like, I just wanted to introduce myself. I just wanted her to know who I was, you know.
I had the same situation. I said the same thing.
My child randomly, and they didn't know who I was or anything like that. So that was just my personal opinion, and I would hope that like Keith would do the same if we don't, like, whatever, if we divorce or whatever. Like, I would want to meet that person before you bring them around my child. I don't, like, rather if I'm in a relationship or not, I would just want to meet the person. And I just feel like, don't bring nobody around my child if y'all only been dating for 20 minutes. Like,
exactly. I need some substance, some kind of conversation where you feeling like, you know, it's going serious. That's another thing that has to go with the maturity level, because you should know that, you know, it's somebody that you want in your life, you want to spend some time with. Yes, things happen, people do break up, whatever, but you know that it's not just no regular, like, oh, like, I just want to have sex with her. But no, I'm falling in love. I love her, or I love him, and I want to bring him around. You know, I think that's definitely key. You have to meet the people. You have to know what's going on. Just like, you know, you enter school, your child, you meet the teachers, you meet the faculty members, you meet those people. It's the same situation. You can't just do what you want to do and just bring your child around whoever, boo boo bop, Johnny, Samantha, and them. You know.
Right. One of our viewers said, I think it's, I'm sorry, I didn't move the comment. Hold up. She said it's always different for the moms, especially if the child is living with the mom. And I definitely agree with that.
So what I said, that if you got the children that's like majority of the time, and then they switch over to that parenting style, you like, oh, hold on, because I've been doing this for 3 years now, you know.
Right. And then it's like, when you bring somebody around your child, like, what are your qualities? Like, what are you looking for in that person before you know, like, okay, I could introduce you to my child. Like, I feel like I need a whole rundown. Do you like kids? Do you even want kids? Do you have kids of your own? Like, what are your disciplinary thoughts? What do you think on education? And all I want to know, like, cause those things,
yes.
like,
you have CPR training.
Yeah, like, right. Like, cause I feel like the things that I have for my child, so I want to make sure that my child is in the same environment when she's not in my household.
You can't expect it to be exactly the same, or them doing stuff like that. But I know for me personally, when I had that situation and I was the other person, I made sure that I was doing XYZ even before I became a parent.
Right.
So I was like, "What your mom say? Have you met your mom? Can I meet your mom? Listen, what does your mom say? How did your mom feel about this? How did your dad feel about this? Making sure I follow whatever discipline, whatever guidelines they had in place, and not disrespecting that at the same time."
Right. Yeah, because when you don't do stuff like that, it like one of our viewers said, it creates like a different dynamic. Like, they start to play you against each other. Like, oh, I know my mom won't let me do this, but at my dad's house I could do that.
Yeah.
So that's like,
Miss Brianna let me do this. Miss Brianna let me eat candy all night. No.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be identical with my parenting style, but I just need to know what is your parenting style, so I can know that my child not gonna be over there getting over, or not gonna
don't disrespect my parenting style either.
Yeah, and don't disrespect with me. Right. So
I think that I definitely agree. You definitely need to sit down. You definitely need to meet all parties, because eventually, hopefully, one day y'all can all hang out. Y'all can all, go to the football games, go to the cheerleading games, and go to the swim meets or whatever it is, parent-teacher meetings. If I can't do it, I would like to hope that, the other person can do it,
Right. And that's how our relationship is with our baby mom. Like, we have the best relationship. I thank God for that. Like, my baby mom is lit, okay? So
it's hard because it's not a lot.
I feel like that's a blessing. Like,
yes.
I feel like that's a blessing, because so many people don't have that relationship with their stepchildren's mom. And I feel like I could call her and I could be like, listen,
yes, Lord.
My child did such, and she'll be like, all right, I'm gonna talk to her. Or she'll call us like, listen, she ain't listening, she ain't doing this and this and that and da-da-da. And we'll be like, all right, we'll talk to her. Like, we really have that open communication, and our co-parenting literally is lit. Like,
that's how it should be.
That's our abilities. And
especially if they not have, it's no, before y'all even got married and stuff like that, if it was no situations where relationships got mixed, or they was dipping and dabbling in the other house, because that's when all the stuff happens. That means that you dealing with somebody else, you dealing with the other person and the baby mom or the baby dad, and that's why they mad for real. Like, you didn't close that door properly. So that all goes with the maturity thing. Like, you all have to be mature in order for it to work. And I had almost stepchild, and they used to call me mom, and I had to check that stuff from the gate.
Yeah, my stepmother don't call me mom.
I was like, we're not doing that. I was like, I love you. You are in here, okay, little person, but we're not doing that. You have one. She's not dead. She's still the person that birthed you, no matter what. Like, I get it, I agree, I understand, but no, that's not what we're doing. And the dad was like,
there's nothing wrong with like being a stepmom and your stepchild calling you mom. I just think
I wasn't a stepmom.
Oh,
I'm just the girlfriend. So I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, not hold on.
Yeah, like
hold on.
Disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
I mean, I love you now.
Yeah, that's why I had to break it down. I was like, you gotta check that. And the dad was like, the person I was dating at the time, he was like, that's his form of showing you that he really loved you and care about you. And I said, I understand that, but that's disrespectful to their parent, And then when we had a child, that put that in my head that you would allow that from somebody else. You didn't. Yeah. So it's like, no, I'm not. We're not doing that. I got to meet them. Gotta let them know who I am.
Like, even as a stepmom, I think it's whatever you and the child is comfortable with. Like, and that was something that me and my husband had a conversation, like, from the very beginning. Even before I was his wife, that was a conversation that we had. Like, what do you, we was together for a minute, and he was just like, well, what do you want her to call you? And I'm like, for real, my stepdaughter still call me Aisha. Like, that's right. Just what we're comfortable with. Like, it's no disrespect. It's none of that. Like, she knows that I'm her stepmom. If anybody asks her, she will say, like, yeah, that is my stepmom or whatever.
And it is reality. Like, you are not her mother. So it's like,
comfortable that way. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't even like when people call me, like, I don't even like when the kids call me Miss Aisha. I'm like, oh, no!
Yes. And that was Janae, too. Like, she's a stepmom right now. And she was like, her stepchild used to call her Miss Janae or whatever. And she used to be like, I don't know how to feel about that. And I'm like, you Miss Janae? Like, it feels so weird. She just like, call me Nene or call me something. And I was like, that's her form of respect. You know, that's probably how her mom, you know, taught her to be. So that's respectful. But I do get it. But definitely not mom. I just feel like nobody can take your place as a mother, regardless of whatever happened. Unless it's like maybe a death situation and you never met your parent, you know?
Right. I wouldn't, even if me and Keith didn't make it and we was to get divorced today or tomorrow, I honestly, if he had like moved on and was in a legit relationship and they was together or for a while and they felt like they wanted to get married or whatever the case may be, I don't think I would, like I said, if I could agree to your parenting styles and we have a good relationship, like how me and his baby mom had, I honestly wouldn't really mind if my child called their step parent or, you know what I mean, mom. I really, that's just me. Like, if that means that my daughter trusts you, like, that would actually make me feel better. Like,
yeah, I get it. I definitely get it from a child's perspective and what
from a child's perspective,
what they feel and how they feel and stuff like that. I would just, I don't know. I feel I'm not in that position yet. So when it happened to me and the child called me that, I was just like, I thought immediately of their parent, and I was just like,
I get it.
I don't. That ain't cool, and I wouldn't want that, you know, regardless or whatever. We had a comment that said, "What do y'all say about those exes, the other person who is negative? What do you mean by that?"
Like she's talking about what co-parenting with a person that's hard to co-parent with. Oh my God, I think that could be like, and I've heard some terrible stories, like, and I'd be feeling bad because I feel like people fail to realize that it is not about you and that person no more. Like, it is literally about you, the child. So if your relationship didn't work out, that is fine. Like, let's continue to have a relationship for our child. We could be friends. We don't have to be together. And we, for real, don't even have to be friends. We could be friends to a certain extent when it comes to our child. You guys, like, literally keep the line of communication open. And I get, like, you never know what really go on behind the scenes because one person might be saying one thing and then the other big mom might be saying, you know what I mean, another thing. So you never really know the true story because you're not living it. But it just be like looking in and just be like, I don't see, like, to me, I hate when people have to go through the courts to, like, see their child. Like, we really got to get the courts for you to do something for your child. I feel like that's wrong. Like, why do that? Like, why put somebody through that? Like, that's ridiculous.
I think it gets to a point where you know their potential and you know your worth and you know your child's worth. When it starts to affect the child, you have to move differently. Like when the child is wondering where their parent is at, where's the other parent, you know, how come this parent's not there? How come this parent's not doing this? And you know, you trying the amicable way, you trying text messages, you're trying to call, you're trying to make sure everything is good, and they just not doing it. After a while, you have to go down there to 15 and arch, okay? Like,
I get it. I'm talking about the person. I'm not talking about the moms that have to do it, but I'm talking about the parent that stopped doing what they have to do and forces the mom hand. Like, that's the part I don't get.
Yeah.
Like, how you just leaving
dirty. Like, it took me 4 years, and I didn't do custody. I went for, you know, the money. But it took me 4 years to do that because I was trying all the other ways, like, really, really, like,
basically,
help me. Can I get a uniform shirt? Just one. Can I get one?
Wow.
Can I get one uniform shirt, please? Like, and it's not.
It's just crazy. And then I don't see why people leave their kids on stuff like that. Like, it's like the child didn't do nothing. Like, the child.
That's what I always used to say. Like, all right, you break up with me, you're not breaking up with your child. Like, he has nothing to do with what we go through. Just like he had nothing to do with us getting together. Like, he didn't ask to be here.
No.
Or, you know, that's what God and him had a conversation, but we ain't know that.
Right. And that's what we be like saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, the conversation need to be had. Like, if people thought like that, like, oh, our relationship didn't work out. You broke up with me, but you didn't break up with your child. If everybody thought like that, I feel like there would be no such thing as child support court at this point. And
it sucks, but you gotta do what you have to do. You know,
I definitely get that part because you know what I mean. Like, you didn't make that child by yourself. You know what I mean. I definitely get that part, but I'm saying the part I don't get is just like how the other parent can just lead a child on stuff. Because it's like, as a mom, you gonna do what you gotta do regardless. Like, regardless. Even as a dad, I'm not gonna just make it seem like it's just moms.
Right. You got some awesome. You got shout out to the daddies out here.
Yes. As
the
a
real
parent,
fathers.
as a parent, you're gonna do what you have to do for your child. So it's like you ain't never leaving a child. Like you ain't gonna leave me on stuck, but you leaving your child on stuck. Like when your child is asking where you at and why you wasn't there and all that stuff. Like it's hard for parents.
And you leave the other parent to have to fill in all of those voids. Now they gotta make up something. The other parent gotta, try to save face and really, unless their child is mature enough to have those conversations with. But majority of the time, you fabricating a story. You're not telling them the real thing. You're not saying what's going on. You gotta do all this extra stuff now. So you leaving that on the child and you leaving that on the other parent because you wanted to be a dickhead and just leave.
And then what it create too is crazy because it's like I don't know why, but it's like when a child don't have that one of the parents missing, it's like they blame the parent that's there. And it's like you didn't you leaving me to take all the blame. And it's just like I don't know what
you didn't have an option.
I didn't have the option, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Now the person that's left there to parent the child is the one that gets all that backlash and gets all of that anger and gets all of that disrespect and stuff like that. And it's just not fair.
Yeah. So we had a comment. One of our viewers said that what if the other BM or the other parent's girlfriend is negative and they have an attitude because the other person moved on? Yeah, I think that goes back to the whole maturity thing. And that's when co-parenting becomes an issue because that person is not mature enough to deal with whoever else is in your life. That's why I said the first steps is to just make sure everybody has somebody else, because normally it's better if you have somebody else you're dealing with, you're not worried about what that person's going through. So you can definitely try to sit down with them, definitely come to an amicable conversation and an amicable idea where everybody's on the same page, or at least close to the same page, on the same chapter, in the same book at least, and y'all try to learn together, because at the same time, you have to have time to grieve too between the relationships. If one relationship ends, you need to grieve. You need to have time to heal and get yourself together so that you can become a better parent and a better person, and then give that person time to heal whatever the situation was in the relationship, and then y'all come together. But if it's a bitter baby mama or baby daddy, then you have to make an executive decision as a parent if you want your child to be around that. Are they able to still be a great parent? Ask yourself those hard questions and stuff like that. And I know for me, I had the same situation, and both people were bitter, and my son's father and his baby mama. And I had to make an executive decision, like, all right, I'm not going to have that person around them. And I just did like the co-parenting thing where I was always there, like, because I don't know where you at. This person didn't have any homes and stuff like that. So I have an address for you. I ask you what's going on, or, where y'all going to go, what time you coming back, the normal mom questions. And I would get, oh, don't worry about it, I'm with it, I'm doing this and that. No, you're not. So that had to stop. And so you can meet me, you can come to the baseball game. Sure, I'm going to be there. And he's leaving with me because I don't trust what's going on over there. Right. I had two people that were hateful and being really disrespectful and stuff like that. So I had to make an executive decision as a mother. Right.
And I think also with the whole negative, I feel like if you made the decision to break up, or if y'all sit down and made the decision to break up, it was for a reason. So if the person moves on, at this point, it's just you can't be but so much bitter because we decided together to break up, or you decided to break up. So it's now that I'm moving on, the only way that you can deal with it if a child is involved is literally focus on the child and it's not about y'all. It's not about it's not about what y'all two feel about each other. And that's a conversation that y'all might have to sit down and have that conversation with your baby dad or baby mom and say, listen, we decided not to be together for a reason, or it didn't work out for a reason. So I'm not understanding where all this hostility is coming from. What's the real issue? And then hash that stuff out. Sometimes it's probably not even that you moved on to a new person. It could probably be they probably
the way y'all ended.
Yeah, it could be the way you're in. It could be anything. And sometimes it's good to just sit down and throw everything on the table and hash them things out, and then be able to move on comfortably. Like, what did she say? I think it just popped up on my screen. She said, "Oh, it's not going." She said the baby mom. Okay, she said the baby mom was okay with me meeting the child, and then as time went on, she started being weird, as if she thought that we was not going to last or something. Oh, okay. So we was answering the question as if your spouse, your baby dad, was being bitter. Okay, so you talking about you. So you basically, it was in a relationship with somebody that had a child, and you started being around their child, and the baby mom was fine with it in the beginning, and then later on down the line, she basically changed the way she felt and started acting weird. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if that's what she's.
I think that's what she's saying. No. Oh, no. Break it down for us. If you want to come in and talk, let us know.
I was going to say, if you want to come in and talk, you can unmute yourself.
Hey, hello, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Queen.
Hey.
I feel a little nervous being on this.
Don't be nervous,
Let me sip a drink for you. I'm gonna sip a drink for you so you can relax.
And it was a long, it's a long message to type. But I was basically saying that the baby mom was okay with me meeting the child.
Okay.
And at first everything was fine. Like, you know, he talked about it with her and everything was fine with me even meeting her. And then as time went on, our relationship like got deeper, months passed, then it got closer to the time that we're comfortable. So like, all right, maybe she should come around or whatever. And then her attitude changed, as if like she thought that we weren't going to last long enough. You know how somebody say something but they didn't really mean it?
Oh, she said something like, you guys weren't going to last.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, like, how did you know that was what she meant?
No, I'm just assuming, because at first she made it seem like, oh yeah, I would like to meet her if they're going to meet. Like, I want to meet the girl that you're around, and before they meet up, like you, like the daughter or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, okay, I'm fine with that too. Like whatever she wants, whatever she felt comfortable with. And then months went by, and then me and him were talking about like, all right, when should we make this happen? And then it's like he talked back to her again to like, you know, check in. And then her attitude is different, like, oh, as if she didn't want it to happen.
Oh, okay. So like, how did she start acting? Like, was she like standoffish? Was she like putting it off? Like, how
did she say anything to him?
Like, she was putting it off, and then she was like, saying the little girl don't want to meet me.
Oh, see, that's what we call immature, because now you messed up the situation because you had already met the child. So you had already
No, I didn't meet the child.
She didn't
I didn't meet the child yet. The only thing I did was like we video chat before, like when he had her, and he was like at his place or whatever with his daughter. Like we was on the video chat talking before, and she was nice or whatever, and I was nice to her, like being myself. But I thought everything was fine, because even after that, there was another time we were video chatting, and she like tried to get in on the camera, and he's like, no, you know. So it seemed like she was interested, like, oh dad, like that's your girlfriend or something, you know. But as time went on, when we were supposed to officially meet up, like the mom saying like the daughter saying no, but it seemed like it was the mom.
Right. So
what did he say? What did the dad say about that? Like,
he said that
he with her.
Yeah, he said that she's not really like open with talking about her feelings as much. The little girl, like she'll say more to her mom. So at first he wasn't sure, but then as he was digging in more about it, he said he felt like it was the baby mom more so, like saying certain things to his daughter.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like it to me too.
Yep, that's something what I would do in this situation. I would sit down with him and like just let him know like how you're feeling, and then I would ask like ultimately you have to let him handle that. Like there's nothing that we can do being like the new girlfriend for real. It's just a conversation that you can have with him, and like basically just say how you felt or whatever, and leave it up to him to handle, because you technically can't step to the baby mom, because then it's going to create drama, and it's going to give her a reason to be like, see, that's why I didn't want her to meet and this and that. That's you going basically what I'm saying is don't play into her hand, because she basically trying to bait you right now. Like she's trying to bait you to see how you're going to handle the situation and how you going to react to her saying, oh no, the child don't want to meet you. So I wouldn't even play into that. I would definitely just let him know, like, hey, I'm still interested. Let him know, like, I'm still interested in meeting your child whenever you're ready or whenever she's ready. And basically, like, you gotta wait and let time tell how that's going to go.
It's not gonna continue if I can't, meet your child and be a part of your life, because that's a serious, thing. Like, I'm somebody serious in your life. So if that's not gonna, if that's already like iffy and stuff like that, that's the issue between you and him. Like, you need to step up and be mature about it and handle your situation. Like, that's your child too, and handle that.
Yeah, he said that he's gonna have a conversation with her because he felt like it was more so negative from the baby mom more than anything.
Right. So y'all basically on the right track for that. Yep. He basically he just gonna have to have that conversation and let her know, like, listen, I do, I would say, like, come and make sure he iterate that he do respect her wishes and he do respect her views. However, that is his child too, and he's in a serious relationship and he's ready for his child to meet his significant other, and he's ready to make the next step. Like, your views is respected. However, I get to make a decision too. It's not just up to you.
And let her know that she can be there. Let her, like I said, all parties need to be involved, because all parties will be involved in the child's life. So let her know, let her know that she can be there and he respects her, but he also has a say so as well. I agree.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to him, but it's a turn off.
Yeah. Since yours is successful and yours is working, like, do you have any tips for other people, things that that you wanted to question maybe when you was transitioning into becoming stepmom, or dealing with the child even as a girlfriend? How did you handle that?
My tips
prepare yourself
that, like, we do is, like, even if, like, our baby mom do something that we don't agree with, like, we don't never discuss, like, those type of things in front of our child, because it was hard in the beginning, like, raising a child that was in our household and we was parenting one way versus the way that her mom was parenting. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the way her mom parenting, but we kind of parenting just like a smidge different. You can speak different. Yeah. So it was like those things, like, we had conversations with, but we always made sure that the child wasn't around. We never talked negative about her mom or her mom parenting styles around our child at all. And we make, like, I would say, like, make requests, not demands, because when you demanding something, it's just like, hold up now, that's still my child.
It's always the delivery. It's never like what's being said. It's like how you say things.
How you say it, yeah. And then you gotta show restraint. Like, some shit might really just get on your nerves, and you might really just be like, all right, I'm really not fucking feeling it. At this point, I'm ready to kick ass. Like, you can't do that when you co-parenting, because it's just like, when you calm down, now what? Now the child can't come over for a whole week, or the child can't come over. Like, you really gotta show restraint. Like, shit might make you mad, but it's just like, you have to decide, like, is this worth it? Is it worth the fight? Like, is it really that serious? And most of the time it don't be. Like, you definitely gotta let your past be your past. One thing my husband is big on, he always said, like, if we break up, you ain't getting none of this no more.
Papa. That's the maturity. I understand, because it brings on too much other stuff. Like, it never can be just sex. I don't care what nobody says, what no female saying out here, Meg Thee Stallion type, all of that. It's going to be some feelings. It might not be today. It might not be after you lay down, but it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming, because we are nurturers. God made us that way. We feel from here. Like, it's always going to be feeling. So if you can't continue that, then it's going to always be a problem in your other relationships.
Wait. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Oh, no, that ain't. I thought that was a kid. Y'all know I got 9 kids in my house. Another thing we do is we keep our word. So if we say we're going to do something, if we say we're going to buy something, if we say we're taking her somewhere, we come to get her, like, we literally keep our word, unless it's like dire circumstances, something that we really just couldn't control. But for the most part, like, we literally, like, 9 times out of 10, we keeping our word. Like, if we say we're going to buy something, we get it. Even if we didn't, even if we couldn't afford it on the week that we said we could, we still find a way to do it, because it's like, then you leave the other parent on stuff. Some shit, you just can't control. But, like, for the most part, like I said, we really try to keep our word. If we say we want to buy this part of the uniform, we literally try to keep that, so it won't fall on our baby mom, because she does have other children. So we try to play our part. and we are active in our child life, and
That's
we're
really
not
good.
just it's not just throwing money at the situation. It's not just none of that. Like, we are active. We do try to split the work, basically, because it's a lot of work raising a child.
I wish we had a guy on so we can get their perspective.
Yeah.
And I like that. Yeah, I like that too. That one of our viewers said that you call her our baby mom, because that's true. It's like we a team, and you with us, and we with you. Like, you know.
She's the same thing. She be like, "Hey, baby mom." Like, that's just really the relationship that we got. And like I said,
I used to pray for that. I'm hoping I'm gonna get it one day. I'm gonna get it.
I'll be hearing some horrible stories, and I be like, "Thank you, God. I don't have to deal with it." Like,
girl.
I be feeling so bad, like, oh my God, like, and I just be happy that we are all mature enough to take care of our kid, because it takes a village to raise a child. And I just thank God.
I was just watching Love and Hip Hop back in the day when Rashida and Kirk had that situation, and like she was just so strong, and like, you know, everybody was bashing her online about how dumb she was, and you know, Rashida being a married person and he stepped out and all that stuff and whatever, but at the end of the day, that's their family. Like we said in our other episodes,
the baby is here now.
Like, you have to fight your battles. You have to see what's your deal breakers and stuff like that. And for her, she accepted that, and she was able to like parent that child and be there. And I remember one of the child wasn't potty trained or something like that, and she was at her household, and she was like, oh no, that's not gonna work, you know, where as though the other parent was like didn't really do that yet, but she was also young and stuff like that, so they worked together to kind of get the child where they need to be. And the dad was Kirk, he was in the picture, so he was able to tell the child. So I think if people are mature and able to handle situations, then it can work. Co-parenting is not hard unless you make it hard. So yeah, I like that you said that, and definitely being active in the child's life and keeping your word and stuff like that. I think those are really good tips.
Yeah, I think that's I think you gotta just make sure you focus on the child. It's not about y'all no more. It's about the child. I think
keep that in your mindset, even when you're getting upset and stuff like that. Like you said, keeping restraint, because it is always about the child. Like, yes, you can definitely stand on your own and say what you need to say if the situation calls for that, but definitely remember what you're doing it for the child. So
because you don't want to pit, like, I only can speak from like a female perspective, so I don't want nobody to think that I'm just saying like only moms deal with this or nothing like that. I definitely both parties, but I only can speak from a female perspective. So you have to think about it like I wouldn't go do nothing to hurt my husband's relationship with his child. Now, if our baby mom make us mad, and I feel like, oh no, bitch, that's your baby mom, I'm gonna go whip her ass. Now my husband can't see his child but no more because I didn't.
And now you done messed up the dynamic between them two, because she always going to be looking for you and he with you. So you can't, you can't do that. And that's why I had to make the executive decision that I made, because I was trying to go to jail. So I'm like, if I go to jail, I can't leave them with you and them. Like, no. So you gotta, you gotta use your brain. And remember.
Common denominator. You always got to think like, if I do this, then how this going to affect the child. You always got to think like that. And I think that's a good place to end it. What do you think?
I think so too. This was cute.
Yeah, this was real cute.
I think we might have to do a part 2 though, because we might have to get some other perspectives.
Right, I think we have to do a part 2. You're so sick, man. All right, guys, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Remember that you can follow us on all of our social media platforms. We keep the conversation going on our Instagram or our Facebook group. We are asking you guys to please keep Janae in your prayers. As I stated earlier, she is dealing with a death in the family, so please send her warm wishes and just let her know that you guys are thinking about her and that we love her and things like that. And don't forget to smile and be happy, guys. All right?
Smile, be happy, and co-parent effectively for the child. Right. Remember.
Yeah. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night. See you next week, 8:30.